Ah, the good old Dakota River, 5:30 in the morning, where the scenery is beautiful and the fish are biting. Is fishing still a reliable source of income? Take a look in this video. Howdy Cowpoke, AustinBMX here. Thanks for checking out today's video. As we stated before the intro, we're here down by the Dakota River. We're gonna do some fishing. That's right. See if we can still make pretty good money from it. We haven't done much fishing at all since the rolls came out because, well, Crips doesn't want fish, and we actually don't sell anything to the butcher, so why do some fishing? Well, one of the awesome things about the roll updates was the ability to upgrade your satchel through the trader roll, and that allows you to carry more fish actually. So we're gonna give that a shot today, see if we can fill up our satchel full of all kinds of fish, see how much money we can make from it, and if it's still a viable income source for Red Dead Online. And before the Frontier Pursuits update and when the trader roll came out and all the other rolls, the main thing we did to make money in this game was usually hunting and fishing, selling to the butcher. We made quite a lot of money actually. We know a few good spots down here on the Dakota River we're gonna look at, as well as some over on the Little Montana that can get you all kinds of fish to fill your satchel up. Go sell it to the butcher. We used to make pretty good money in those days doing a little bit of fishing. So we're gonna give that a shot today. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are interested in some sort of fishing roll for the game. I know in story mode there's the legendary fisherman. Maybe we can bring him in as even just a stranger mission. It would be pretty cool to be able to do something with fishing now because, like I said, with these rolls out, I don't do too much fishing unless it's needed for a challenge or something. So there are 4 types of medium-sized fish mainly that we're going to be going for today in our video here. One being the salmon, second one being trout, and third and fourth one being bass, both smallmouth and largemouth. They all mostly can be found on the Dakota River. There are a few other good spots that we're going to be looking at as well. Our first spot here is amazing for some good old salmon. That's right, salmon is one of the best ones because it does sell for $2.50 a pop. And man, I remember when the game first came out, the fish prices were still the way they were in story mode, and man, people were making bank off fish because they sold for like $4 a piece. They did nerf that pretty quick. As you can see, we already got a few fish spawning out here in this spot. Once we get our pole out, they'll probably pop up a little more. Let me show you on our map where we are for our salmon spot. This spot is super great. We'll probably be able to pick up a full satchel of salmon at this spot pretty quick. We're gonna roll through that pretty fast, and then we'll show you the next spot that we go to for some trout. So of course we highly recommend going down to the bait shop lady in La Grosse and picking up all the special lures, all of them, special river lure, special lake lure, special swamp lure, and special spinner if you have the money. They're not too expensive, and well, in this day and age with all the money we usually make, but they might be kind of expensive for you, but they do work pretty dang good for catching all the larger and the medium-sized fish. Of course, we're on a river here, so we're going to be using the special river lure. That can change depending on what kind of fish you're fishing for, but for the salmon, they love the special river lure. We can see, we can look out here, I could see at least like 6 or 7 in that hole right there, and some smaller fish over there. So we're going to go ahead and cast right out here, bring ourselves in some salmon, and try to get our satchel full. Now we can carry up to 20 of these fish. Now with the upgraded trader satchel, you do have to rank up in the trader roll to get that. So you might be able to only carry 10 at this time, but even just carrying 10 of every fish and getting to the butcher, still some pretty good money. Whoa, buddy, calm down. Calm down, buddy. Gonna put you in our little basket here. Got ourselves a nice, purty salmon. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that bad boy. What are you guys thinking? 5 pounds, 6 ounces? 5 pounds, 15 ounces. All right, I was close. Nice. Good looking sockeye salmon right there. Now remember, for daily challenge stuff, sometimes you have to cook succulent, seasoned fish meat, and that's where you get that from, is from salmon. So make sure you mark this spot as well if that challenge does come up. Okay, so we got our 20 salmon from this spot. We also threw in a little bit of some special spinner and got a couple of bluegill, a redfin pickerel, and a whole bunch of rock bass. So we're looking good now. We're gonna head over to our second spot, which is gonna be a great trout spot. So as we head over to our next spot over here on the Dakota River, it is by Limpany, pretty easy to find. It's for some great trout. I want to touch base with you guys and see what you guys think about a fisherman role in the game. Would you want it to be a full role in the game with unlocks like the trader, or just like maybe a stranger mission that maybe they bring in the legendary fisherman from story mode and we can go down there? We actually could use him in both of those aspects. Could just be a stranger mission where you go down there and he wants you to go do some fishing for him. That would be pretty cool. Or a full-on role where he acts like Madame Nazar, right? I was thinking that maybe you could do a fisherman role where your goal is to go out and get a bunch of fish and maybe sell them to the butcher with the role. Maybe you unlock perks where you get the ability to catch fish quicker or spawn them better. Maybe you can unlock a better fishing pole or a better reel, things like that. Maybe you can go down to the legendary fisherman and he can maybe give you a map. You could buy maps from him that maybe work like treasure maps, right? They work like treasure maps, I was thinking, where you buy a map from him and then when you open that map, it spawns in a yellow area somewhere on a body of water where a big legendary fish has been spotted, right? And you can only catch that fish if that map's open, kind of like a treasure map. So it wouldn't work like the collector role where you could just learn all the spots and go get it. You know, you'd have to buy the maps. I think Rockstar's would probably have to do something like that so people aren't just fishing these fishes all over the place. But we made it down to our second spot. It's just down here by Limpany, as you can see. We're heading down to these rocks right here. Once we get down here, we will go ahead and open up the map so you can see where we are. Get off of this rock, you dumb. Where are you going, horse? Go this way. So this is where we're going, right down here. This is a great spot right here for some fishing in this nice open area. We got a rainbow showing up too. You can see where we are right here. We're going to be casting up towards this little island right here, and we should be finding some pretty good trout. Right, as you can see, we got our 20 steelhead trout. We also got a few more rock bass, some other pickerel, because, you know, when the fish quit biting the big ones, we usually throw our spinner on, of course, and catch them those. We did have to move to a secondary spot. One up by Limpany just wasn't biting for us there. We did move to our second spot, and these guys were hungry. Let me show you the map real quick where we are. This spot right here is awesome for trout as well. Make sure, it might say you're at a lake, but still use a river lure. Trout really love the river lure. And get yourself a whole bunch of trout at this spot here. They do spawn pretty good all the way up to Bard's Crossing, but right out here is usually a pretty good spot, and I caught 15 probably in 10 minutes just casting out here. Pretty good spot. So now we're moving on to the next of our 4 large or medium-sized fish that we're going after for a big satchel, and that's Smallmouth Bass. We are on the Little Montana River, just where Hawkeye's Creek comes in. It's a pretty good hole right here. Definitely has some good spots for some smallmouth bass. And then our largemouth bass spots just gonna be upriver from here. We're gonna be fishing here for a little while. You guys can see this is a great spot for smallmouth bass. Smallmouth bass are usually pretty dang big. We got a 5-pound, 12-ouncer here. We can of course hold 20 of these as well. We're gonna go ahead and fish for a little while here. I'll show you the map real quick where we are. As soon as I get this guy, throw it in there and pull up the map. We are on the Upper Montana River, just where the Hawkeye's Creek comes in from Strawberry. Right here fishing. There's a pretty good hole here. After we fish this for a little while and get all of our smallmouth bass, we're going to move upriver. With these islands here, I'll show you this spot for some largemouth bass, and then we can cruise over to the butcher and see how much money we got in our satchel. Alright, as you can see, we've made it to our next spot, and there are a ton of fish here in this little hole right here. Let's get one of these big bad boys caught real quick, and I'll show you exactly where we are on the map. This is a great spot for largemouth bass. As you can see here, we got ourselves a largemouth bass. Should be a pretty nice one. 4 pounds, 3 ounces, not too bad. We'll keep this thing for number 1. You can see all this fish spawning everywhere. This is a great spot for small fish as well. Showing the map, of course, where we are. Right here in this little pool of water, right here, just above the word great, just below the gang hideout that's in the old fort right here, you know, right there. Great spot. Let's get all these things caught and go see if fishing is still a good way to make money in Red Dead Online by selling to the butcher. Alright, so this spot for largemouth bass is pretty much cast and snag and drag them on in pretty dang easy. So this should be our number 20 right here. We're gonna go ahead and throw this in our satchel. We'll check out our satchel real quick. This spot is pretty good for largemouth bass. You can usually catch 5 or 6, and then sometimes you usually have to throw on your spinner and catch the smaller fish. You can see I have 20 rock bass. We also have 9 pickerel and 10 chain pickerel. So we got quite a lot of fish and 9 bluegill. We do have our 20 largemouth bass, our 20 steelhead trout, our 20 smallmouth bass, and our 20 sockeye salmon. Let's cruise down the butcher and see how well these sell for. It is pretty dang good, and we'll see if, you know, fishing is still something fun to do in the game and worth some money. So we've made it down to the butcher. This is what the video is all about. Is selling fish still a good, plausible way to make money in the game? So we have been fishing quite a while, as you've seen. I mean, the video is kind of short, but we've been fishing for about a couple hours. Now, we do know from a video in the past that it takes about a little over 4 hours to get a full load of goods for your trader, and you gotta have good animal spawns and all that good stuff. So what does 2 hours of fishing get you? Well, we got all our fish here. As you can see, we're at $47,329. So let's sell all these things and see what we get. As you can see, the largemouth bass sell for $2. So we have $40 right there. The steelhead sell for $2.50. We have $50 right there. The smallmouth bass sell for $2. There's 40 right there. And the sockeye salmon sell for $2.50. That's $50. So just in the sockeye salmon and the trout, we have $100 in fish in our satchel. And then of course we have 80 here. So that's $180 right there, plus all the little ones we sold. So let's go ahead and sell all these real quick and see what we got. So there you go. In a couple hours, we made $225 just selling fish to the butcher. That's pretty awesome. It's not as great as going around getting all the collectibles because you can make some pretty good money there. But if you want something to do in the game that's different than the norm, that's maybe different than you've been doing, going around fishing, it's nice and quiet usually, got some good scenery. A couple hours, we made $225. Could this be put into a role? Let's look into a couple things that happen in the story mode and extend this out a little bit and get a little discussion going. I think it can. Let's jump over to story mode real quick and showcase the legendary fisherman and see if maybe he could get into the game in online and create something for fishing in the game. Jeremy Gill, the legendary fisherman from story mode. Let me know if you guys would like to see Jeremy Gill added as a stranger mission. I think that would be a cool little addition to the game to be able to go do some stuff for Mr. Gill here, the legendary fisherman. But I do feel that Jeremy Gill could be a pretty big role as well in Red Dead Online. You could use Jeremy kind of like you do Madame Nazar. Maybe he even moves around different parts in different lakes. You gotta go find him. But for the first time, you could meet him at his house here on the lake. Get yourself his book and card as you do in story mode. Probably have to buy it, you know. And then maybe that map gives you places to go find fish for him. You can go back and sell fish to him. Maybe for if they're large ones or larger than a certain amount, you can get extra money instead of selling to the butcher. And possibly he has maps that you could buy from him that kind of work like a treasure map, right? Where as soon as you open up that map, it'll highlight a yellow spot on the map where some legendary fish has been seen. You got to go to that area, fish like crazy, you try to find that legendary fish and bring it back to him for an extra reward. Maybe a small little role. Definitely would be a lot of fun. I think it would for sure. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments if you would definitely jump on that role and maybe have something else to do in the game. Well, Cowpoke, there you go. Fishing in Red Dead Online still makes pretty good money, especially if you have your satchel upgraded to a trader role. But Jeremy Gill, should he be a stranger mission or should he be pulled into a full-on role? We think role would be pretty awesome. So make sure you're getting out there, getting all your fishing done. You could even use it as a time passer while you're actually waiting for Crips to make all your goods. Once he gets all your goods made, you probably have quite a lot of fish to go sell as well. That's a little shout out for Cards, who likes some chicken tenders and gave us that idea. So definitely get out there and get some fishing done while you're waiting for Crips to do whatever he does. Hey, Cowpoke, hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. If you're new around here, consider subscribing to the channel for more Red Dead Online content, including tips and tricks, news updates, gameplay, good old-fashioned fun. Hope to see you on the prairie sometime, but until then, see you later.